All right, here we go, here we go. Got a little math going here, got a little math going. So, what we are doing here is we are studying for the ACT, and with that comes practicing. Now, the ACT comes along here in March. All right, that's coming sooner than you know. So, the best thing we can do is practice, practice, practice. Not a lot, practice a little bit every single day and see how it goes. So here's what we got. We've got Carmen is playing with blocks. She arranges stacks of blocks so that each succession levels of blocks has one fewer block than the level below. So basically, I'm creating a stack here. Now, they're trying to trick you, okay? They're trying to, do something that's not very complicated. So it says, such a stack with 3 levels is shown below. Carmen wants to know a stack of 12 levels. Okay, as you can see, the number of blocks is just simply the level. So if we go all the way down, right, we're going to go through 12 levels. So basically, we kind of have to do the 12 factorial, except we're not multiplying, we're adding. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do 12 plus 11 plus 10 plus 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. And we're going to get 78. That means the total number of blocks in 12 levels is B, 78. Okay? So the hardest part about this necessarily is kind of getting through the problem and trying to figure out, all right, well, what is the problem trying to ask me? All right, and then what am I doing next? So for this next problem, we've got to keep with the rising costs of expenses, a motel manager needs to raise $40, raise the $40 room rate by 22%. Okay, 22%. So there's multiple ways how to do this. We can go ahead and we can say, all right, we can do 22% of 40, so multiplying 0.22 times 40. Now, when you have a 22%, to convert that to a decimal, we go ahead and we move the decimal place over 2 times. So we get 0.22. So if I go ahead and I take my 40 and I times by 0.22, we get 8.8. All right, so we get 8.8. Now, that's how much we need to raise the room by. Now, if they were being really tricky, they would have had 8.8 on here. Luckily, they don't. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to multiply this 40 times 1.22. Then that's going to add the 40 plus the 8. So it's going to be $48.80. So that letter is going to be J. Okay. Hopefully we're feeling good. We've got some ACT prep, right? All right, question number 3. Let's take a look. As a salesperson, your commission is directly proportional. Oh, directly proportional. Looks like we've got some proportion, maybe some direct variation here. Okay, so it's a lot of times we have something like y equals kx for direct proportion. As a salesperson, your commission is directly proportional to the dollar amount of sales you make. If your sales is $800, your commission is $112. So that's really my key is. So $800, my commission is $112. So I'm trying to figure out what's my multiplier, okay? What's my K value? So I've got my $800, right, times my commission. Not sure what that is. Now, it's not commission, obviously, with a C, but with a K because it's kind of this general formula. Equals $112. So what is my constant here? Okay, one thing I haven't really talked about is the calculator. Now, this right here is a TI 84 CE Plus. You want to get this calculator for the AP exam because of this alone. Alpha X. We get this fraction. Do you know how many times students get problems wrong just because they screw up a fraction when they put it in? Pretty significantly. Now, this has 7 over 50. That's a little confusing. I can press math, then go to decimal. All right, 0.14, 0.14. So that means I make 14% commission. Okay, 14% commission. So in order to figure out how much commission I'm going to earn on 1,400, I'm going to go ahead and take that 14% and multiply it by 1,400. Do not multiply 14 times 1,400. It's 0.14. So 0.14 times 1,400. So I'm going to take that 0.14. I'm going to multiply times my 1,400. 1,400. And I get 196. So that one's B. That one's B. Here we go. Here we go. 3 down. We're going to try to get 14 done tonight. 14. All right. That seems like a solid. All right. So initially, this one seems a little bit confusing, not because the problem is hard. The problem is very easy. But it doesn't say what is x. It says what is 2x. Don't get confused over this. Because what we have to do is solve for x and then just double it. Okay, so not too bad. So if you're following along with this, we're going to have to do some inverse operations here. All right, so we're going to subtract that 7. All right, so we get 15 equals 3x. All right, I'll give you about 10 seconds to try to figure out what you want to do here. Okay, what is x? I don't know if you're a high schooler trying to figure out what you're doing. Or this is super easy for you and you just want me to get along and move quickly so we can get to some harder ones, that's totally fine. So if x equals 5, do not select 5. That's not the question. The question is, what is 2x? So 2x is 10g. Okay, 2x is 10g. Switch up the color purple here. Let's go to look at number 5. Number 5. So it says, the total cost of renting a car is $30 for each day. So if I've got $30 for each day, so that's my day rate plus 28.5 cents per mile. So money per mile is going to be my 28.5 cents. I'm actually going to write that as 0.285. All right, that's going to be helpful because I have it as money. So it says, what is the total car cost after renting it 5 days and 350 miles? So this one is as easy as it looks. So I'll give you about 15 seconds to figure out how you do this one. Okay, put in the chat what you think the answer is. Okay, I want to get a little bit of interaction here. What do we think? What's the answer to this one? Put something in there. Let me know you're there. Okay. So 5 days times 30 bucks a day. Do not grab your calculator on that one. Okay, you do not need it. Now you're definitely gonna need it for that one, for this next one. But if I've got 350 miles and it's 28.5 cents per mile, go ahead and multiply that by 0.285. So here we go. We're gonna do 350 times 0.285. This is how much money is just for the mileage. Just for the mileage, $99.75. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to add the 150. All right, and then I get 249.75. 249.75, letter C. Okay, did everybody get it right? Bueller, this is just like regular class, nobody answers. Okay, TikTok Live is kind of strange, kind of odd, but hey, you gotta go where the kids are, right? All right, let's take a look at this one. In any parallelogram, geometry. Anybody here like geometry more than algebra? I myself am definitely an algebra person. We'll see. In any parallelogram, A, B, C, D. So parallelograms, let's talk about some properties of parallelograms. Parallelograms have, you got it, parallel sides. Parallel sides. Very important with parallelograms. Okay, opposite sides are equal. All right, so let's take a look. Looks like we're dealing with angles. So it is always true that the measures, all right, so this is really important. So the order of this parallelogram is A, B, C, D. Doesn't matter where you start. A could be here, A could be there, it doesn't matter. As long as the next angle you write is in order. A, B, C, D. All right, make sure it's in order. So it says, is it, some of you, I know, type A, you're getting like kind of frustrated because you want the A to be right there. Nope, we're going to start it here. It's good to be flexible in math. All right, we get too rigid and then people don't like us. All right, so we've got A, B, C, D. The measures of angle A, B, C. So angle A, B, C, that would be this one. And angle BCD is always what? They're definitely not equal. They're definitely not equal. All right, so we've got, if I go ahead and I kind of draw this out a little bit, we got a transversal with parallel lines. Okay, those two inside angles are called what? Somebody put it in the chat. I'll call you out. Huge kudos. What is this called? I've got parallel lines right here. I got a transversal, and I got these two angles. What are those called? Come on, 5 seconds. 4. Come on, Sean, Quincy, Ava, are you there? AG, I saw you in there somewhere. These are called same side interior angles. Same side interior angles. This is hard to write with this phone right in front of my face. All right, so back off those of you who are judging me on my handwriting. Same side interior angles are supplementary. So if they're supplementary, that means they equal 180 degrees, which would make sense because I have 180 degrees and 180 degrees would get me F. All right, so F, parallelograms, okay? Some of you who had Mr. Anderson, you remember everything from geometry. I know you did. All right. We're going to try to do 8 more problems here before I head off to bed. All right, so it says, number 7. What is the least common denominator? Yes, remember folks, fractions are friends. Okay, you hear me? Fractions are friends. So what is the least common denominator for adding the fractions? So what we could do is we could list out, 8, 16, 12, 24, 15. But what I would probably do is I would start with the smallest because we're looking at, so 40. I'm going to divide that by, let's see if I can get my calculator here, by 15. Does that, nope, it does not evenly go into. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 120 and I'm going to go ahead and divide that by 15. Is that good? Yep, that's solid. I'm going to take 120 divided by 12. If it's a whole number for all of them, then it is golden. So my answer is finding common denominators. I know sometimes we take a look at, how do we do everything the correct way, but in this situation, we can just go with the answers and pick the best output, all right? So test taking strategies galore, whatever works best. Sorry, it's a little shaky there. All right. So the product. Ooh, product. Product. What does product mean? Okay. Product is the answer to a multiplication. Okay, multiplication problem. We have a quotient, the answer to a division problem. We have the difference, that's going to be a subtraction problem, and the sum is going to be an addition problem. Okay, you need to know those words. So the product, oh man, so let's take a look. I've got 2x to the 4th, y to the first, 3x to the 5th, y to the 8th. What is the product? Here's what we're going to do. Multiply just the numbers. So we're definitely going to get 6. So that's going to eliminate J and F. All right. So let's kind of rewrite this. We have x to the 4th and then x to the 5th. The number one question is, do you multiply those or do you add them? I'm just going to rewrite x to the 4th. So x to the 4th equals x times itself 4 times. And then x to the 5th times itself 5 times. So if I'm going to take these 4 x's, I'm going to go ahead and times it by these 5 x's, I end up just getting x to the ninth. All right. So you do add them, but don't think of it like, oh, it's a rule. I have to add exponents when I multiply. No, you're going to screw it up. Don't memorize it. Think of x to the fourth, like x times itself 4 times, and x to the fifth. And then if you multiply them, you're just sticking another dot in between. So you got a total of 9 of them. All right, so 6x to the ninth, y to the ninth. Okay, so it looks like h. Looks like h. All right, let's take a look at the next problem. So, this one's a little bit longer here. It costs. See, like this is a problem. It's fine. It's whatever. But this is just like a number sense problem. This isn't like, all right, we're gonna take a specific, whatever you learned in Algebra 1. Nope. They're just gonna throw this at you and see how you do. So it costs $80 for an adult ticket to a reggae concert. Of course, it's reggae. Let's do a Rob Zombie concert. Oh yeah. All right. So a Rob Zombie concert, an S for student tickets, because there's going to be tons of students at the Rob Zombie concert. All right. The difference. Hey, we just talked about this up here. What's the difference? Difference is subtraction. All right. So difference is subtraction. The difference between the cost. All right. So the difference between the cost between 12 adult tickets and 18 students tickets is 36. What is the equation representing this relationship between A and S? All right, so for a Rob Zombie, I mean, it can't get any more obvious. There's only one answer with a difference. Okay? There's only one answer with a subtraction. It's going to be minus. Now the question is, why is it absolute value? Well, because regardless if you subtract the first from the latter, you're going to end up being a positive dollar amount. You can't have negative dollar amount. Okay, so that equals 36. So our answer here is C. So again, the big thing is up here we had product means multiply. Difference here is subtraction. Quotient and sum are also going to be there too. Sound good? I'm literally just talking into my office. I have no idea what's going on. All I see is Desmond liked this live about 37 times. I have no idea what that means. All right, let's take a look. Number 10. If x is greater than 1, then which of the following has the least value? All right. So inherently, you might have no clue what's going on here. But we'll have to just, take like a counter example, usually when we're trying to prove something wrong, but just take an example. So let's say x equals 2. 2 is bigger than 1. So if we test all of these different values, we're going to be able to figure it out. All right, so if I have square root of 2, all right, so this one would be the square root of 4. This one would be the square root of 2 times 2, which is 4. This one would be 2 square roots of 2. This one would be 2 times 2. All right, pretty obvious which one this is. Okay, obviously the square root of 2 is going to be our least value. Letter F. Letter F. All right. So a lot of people ask, how do you get better at ACT? So if you're just joining, how do you get better at ACT math? Do you know what you do? You do ACT math, right? Like, look at this question. You don't see this question. Charles defined a new operation. I'm sure Charles has, a lot of get-togethers on Friday nights if he's coming up with new operations. But they come up with these kind of bizarre questions. So the best thing you can do is just continue to practice. All right, practice, practice, practice. I'm on here every night at 8 p.m., 8 or 8:30 p.m. Okay, I got 5 kids. I got nothing better to do. All right, I put them all to bed, and I look forward to this. All right, so Charles defined a new operation on a paired order. AB, whatever this is, diamond. He must be a blackjack gambler here. CD. So it equals this. So what's the value? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to replace. So A is 2, so I have 2 times 3. So I have 2 times 3, that's A times C right here, plus B times D. So B is right here, so 1 times D is 4. All right, 1 times 4. Hey, can somebody give me one chat? Just somebody put one thing in the chat so I know that you're alive. All right, at the bottom, I got A and B. So A is 2. A is 2. All right. B is 1. So 2 times 1 here. All right. Minus C. My C value is 3 here. Times D. My D is 4. All right. So I've got my top, I've got 6 plus 4 over 2 minus. Do you notice how we did order of operations? Some of you don't like order of operations. You're going to add before you multiply. Don't do that. Okay, so this is negative 10. 2 minus 12 is negative 10. How many of you would have grabbed your calculators? Don't grab your calculators. All right? You make one, it's like a pacifier. You think you're going to, oh, I need it. I need my calculator. No, you don't. Don't need your calculator. B is negative 1. B is negative 1. All right. Fire it up. Looks like we got 4 more problems and I'm hitting the hay. 4 more problems and I'm hitting the hay. Excuse me, 3 more. All right, here we go. Ooh, more geometry. Here we go. Mr. Anderson would love this. So we've got in this figure below, angle BAC measures 30 degrees. On your ACT, I think yours will be electronics, so you won't be able to write necessarily on it, which kind of stinks. Okay, but you can go ahead and just put it right in the workbook. Angle ABC measures 110 degrees. So ABC is 110 degrees. All right, now it says points B, C, D are collinear. All right, so collinear, there's 2 L's there. Collinear just simply means they're on the same line, okay? Collinear. I bet you knew that. You got this already. So collinear. Now it says, what is the measure of ACD? Okay, ACD. ACDC. All right, sorry, bad joke. ACDC. So what is the measure of this one? So what we got, there is a theorem. I can't remember what it's called. It's like the outer angle is equal to the sum of the interior non-supplementary. Okay, somebody just wanted to make some money in the 1400s probably and wanted to create some sort of formula. It's common sense. So we know that these angles add to be a total of 180. So 110 plus 30 here is 140. So that leaves this to be 40. And since we know these are collinear, all I have to do is simply take 40 plus what gives me 180. And this is going to be 140 degrees. So this one is going to be 140 degrees. G. Did you get that? Would you have gotten that? All right, let's take a look. Number 13. All right. In the isosceles triangle below, you have to know what an isosceles triangle below. So let's take a look. So we've got isosceles triangle. We've got scalene triangle. We've got an equilateral triangle. Wait, we've got right triangles. We've got obtuse triangles. So an equilateral triangle, all sides are congruent. Man, it's been a long time since I taught geometry. All right, scalene, no sides are congruent, and isosceles is 2 sides congruent. All right, so this is a right isosceles triangle. It means these 2, which are called legs, are congruent. So know if this is 10, then this is 10. So it says, what is the length in feet of AC? All right, AC. What I've got now is I've got Pythagorean's theorem. Pythagorean's theorem says if I have a right triangle, I can go ahead and do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So a squared is a leg of the right triangle. So this right here, we're going to call this A. We can call here B, and we're going to call our hypotenuse here C. So A squared is 10, so it's 10 squared plus B. Our B is 10, so 10 squared equals, we don't know what's C squared. This is what we're trying to figure out. All right, so don't use your calculator for that. Okay, some of you, I know you're going to grab your calculator. Don't do it. I got 100 plus 100 equals C squared. So I've got 200 equals C squared. I wish they would have put 200 on here just to like screw with people because they're going to want to put 200. Nope, you got to square root 200. Well, the square root of 200, I wish, if they put the square root of 200, if I put it in here, it looks something like this. If they would have put 14.1 on here, I wish they would have done that, all right? But, they would have been tricking you pretty bad. So what I can do is I can go ahead and simplify square root of 200 into square root of 100 times the square root of 2. And the reason I do that is because I know the square root of 100 is 10. Square root of 100 is 10. So that gives me 10 squared to 2. All right, 10 squared to 2. All right, last question. Last question, and we're heading out. All right. I got really important things I got to do. In a bag of 400 jelly beans, who counts 400 jelly beans? Okay, just by the way, 25% of the jelly beans are red. Okay, so if I've got 400 and 25% of them are red, remember if we do 25 as a percent, I go ahead and I make that 0.25. All right, so I do 400 times 0.25, so I have 100 red jelly beans out of 400. Okay, so it says, what is the probability that the jelly bean picked is not one of the red jelly beans? So just to let you know, if you are somebody who's looking at trying to get a 32, 33, 34, 35, 36 ACT, okay, about 3 of the questions are going to be heavy statistics problems. This is light work. This is like cream of mushroom soup. I'm talking like, roast stuff. We're talking meat and potatoes. We're talking p-values. We're diving deep into probabilities, conditional frequencies. So if you take AP Stats, that will help you get that 35, 34 that you're looking for in the math if you're really up there. All right, but I assume you might not be on here if you're that. So it says, what are the probability that the jelly bean picked is not one of the red jelly beans? Well, if 100 out of 400 is red, that means that 300 out of 400, okay, reduced to 3/4 is not. All right, I'm heading out. Murky Mud, no clue who you are, man, but you've been crushing it on here, okay? Everybody, have a great night. I will be on here 8:30. I'll try to be on here every night. If not, something major went down, all right? I got no life. This is my life. Math be real. Have a great night.